Hello and welcome to Needing a Meeting. My name is Carol. I will be your host today. And hello, Misha. Hello, Matrix. Hello, Kristen Melinda, Sandy Wandy. I know I'm missing some folks, but I'm having to kind of go toggle back and forth because I'm not seeing the lifeboat feeding in. Let's see if I can get that just yet. Maybe it will. Hi, over here on Needing a Meeting. Hello, Kristen. Hey, it paired. So Sandy Wandy, you're commenting on the lifeboat. I see you. Yay. Yay. And I have Tara here with me. Hiya.
Hey,
How are you, Tara?
I'm okay, thank you. How are you?
Doing okay.
Good. Nice to see you.
You too.
Thanks.
So what's new?
Gosh, I feel like so much has happened since we talked last, but it's only been the weekend.
Wow. Well, good. I can't wait to hear.
Yeah, I had a Rocky ketamine session. The session went good, but this weekend, recovery time for the session was a little bit intense, I guess, for lack of a better term. It took me way longer to recover than usual. So I didn't live stream last night. I have been kind of out of it. I feel better today. Like I feel like a human being, a little more like myself today. And last night was better. But man, it took a good 12 hours longer to recover than usual.
I wonder if that's a sign that maybe the treatments have kind of run their course or something.
I was wondering the same thing. So it's something that I need to talk with my nurse practitioner about, just feeling like, or maybe lowering my dose, slowly tapering off, perhaps. Hello.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Tara, yeah, I seen your message that that you had put on your thing about your treatment. So I didn't want to interrupt. I know you were talking about that.
No, that's okay. Interrupt me anytime.
Hey,
Well,
Shannon, Ben. Hey, Shannon, Ben, and Tommy Bird. Good to see you guys. Go ahead.
I was going to say, how have you guys been? It's been a while since I've been on. I've been trying. Gosh, life just, it does its things, Is that my camera doesn't always work and my Wi-Fi cuts out. Can you guys hear me?
I'm having some issues. Yeah, I'm having some issues with my Wi-Fi, it looks like today too. So
yeah,
hopefully the meeting won't get interrupted by technical glitches.
Yeah, I felt that. I did like a really great live the other day and I was like fuzzy through the whole thing. I was like, oh. What do you do?
I don't think it really matters. I think people appreciate the imperfection.
Right? Well, see, and this is where like my little perfectionism, I'm like, ooh. So I kind of have to like rein that in. But that's a good point. I didn't think of it that way.
Yeah,
people
I mean,
like, hey.
People are so used to seeing well produced things and things that are overproduced and
right.
very professional looking, which is not a bad thing. I'm not dogging on that.
Right. Yeah.
When people see things that are like, you can tell someone's just getting started, I think that's interesting to people as well. And I think that I noticed like my earlier live streams where I just had like the white wall behind me seemed to do like I was having, well, I have good engagement these days, but like it seemed like people were really engaging quite a bit. There's something kind of mysterious about a white background and a bad signal. People are like, what is this whole story?
That's so true. Be like, hey, we got to tune in and see what she's doing now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I am digging on your new place, Christy.
Oh gosh, it is so beautiful. Well, do you want a quick little tour, you guys?
Heck
And you can
yes.
kind of see
Yeah.
what is going on here. So, I'll start from the outside. Michael put these, so I have these amazing little window boxes that
Window
that
box.
Michael built for me. Aren't they cute? And then I got a porch swing
Aw.
because you can't have a front
Oh,
porch and not have a porch swing.
that's
And
right.
yes, and then as you come in, I'll walk backwards. So this is the entryway. So there's Mikey and Miss McPiglet. And then here's
Aw.
this really cool, like vintage, see if I can, like desk thing. And then, you know, I got that. It's all very open and really pretty. So,
It
and then
is neat.
this is going to be my studio. Whenever I get it, I'll sort it out. But it's got a wood accent wall. And then I'm going to do some built-in bookshelves and stuff. But the way that the sun comes through that window, I've got to get a curtain, like some kind of curtain to kind of filter it through a little bit, because otherwise I look a little too angelic, and you know, we can't have that kind of reputation going on. Can't have people thinking there's too much. But yeah, so it's fun. And then this is the kitchen, and then out the window it's just prairie, and there's a little Shetland pony that runs around and kicks up his heels, and all kinds
Oh,
of little Frenchie
cute.
puppies. God, they're so adorable. Yeah, so it's fun. I think not this weekend, but next weekend Michael's headed to El Paso. So that'll be good, and then he'll be gone for about 3 months. So most
Oh.
of the summer he'll be
How far
gone. Yeah.
is El Paso from where you are right now?
It's 800 miles.
Oh.
So, yeah. So, but I mean, there's an airport in Wichita and there's an airport in El Paso. And so, if I did want to fly out, the dogs, like, they've got a doggy door and they just run in and out of it. They think that, like, life is amazing because of that doggy door. They never had one before. So, they just let themselves in and out, and they, you know, whatever. And so it would actually be pretty easy for me to hop a plane and fly out to see him, easier than it would have been in Kentucky. So I'm really thankful for that. But yeah, so this is my place.
I like
Working
it.
on, thank you. Yeah, working on getting it all situated and finally put all of the makeup up, and, you know, good gosh. I went through a lot of it before I left, and but I was putting it all back, and I was like, "Oh, there's more." Hi, Cosmic. Oh, I like your green sweater.
I like your interesting background. Is that the same one that are you in was it Queensland?
Yeah, I'm in Queensland. I'm at my mate's house, Mel's house.
Oh, that's so pretty.
Wow.
Yeah, it's raining at the moment, so
Wow.
yeah, that's the
Ooh, I like
Oh, that's
it.
gorgeous.
That
yeah.
is.
Yeah, that's so pretty.
Mel's
So
got a green
pretty.
finger, a green thumb, or whatever you call it. So I do not. I just buy plants and I give them to Mel when they're about to die at my house. So there's a few of mine here somewhere. But yeah,
Oh, awesome. Awesome.
I had to
Very
escape my
cool.
house. I couldn't even talk
Okay.
yesterday. My flatmates, housemates, there, and yeah, we had a bit of a thing where I told him to leave me alone because Mother's Day wasn't going to be good, and I've learned that I've learned recently that when I'm feeling upset about something, I'll start fights. I won't. I'll actually go around looking for fights. So yeah, like just like, why can't you pick up your stuff, or just stuff I'm generally annoyed about anyway, but I'll use it as an excuse just to get out what I'm actually upset about. And I'm actually upset that I didn't get to hear from my daughter for Mother's Day.
Oh.
And my whole life is about to change now my son's about to leave. And I was trying to let him know that just stay away from me, and or if I bite at you at something, just don't bite back. I was pre-warning him, trying to do, the right thing, and then he starts a fight about me not wanting to actually start a fight. I'm just there going, that makes sense. And anyway, he left for the night, and that was all good. And I spent 2 days in bed because it was Mother's Day and the day after. And then he comes back all apologetic, and I think he wants to move in now, like on a permanent basis when my son leaves. And I'm just like, I'm doing everything I can to make sure that conversation doesn't happen, as in letting him know that I'm moving as soon as I can, and I don't know what's happening, and it's going to be far away, and he can't move far away because he's got his daughter to think about. Because I can't deal with it. I know that I'll say yes, and I can't say yes because it's not doing me any good. So I just need to get away from the situation, because I know that it's just, I'm drowning in the inability to say no because I didn't put that boundary up in the first place. And I guess it just shows that it's really important when you first meet someone, it's to know your own boundaries and to define them so that you're both sure of what's happening. And that's true of anything, any sort of friendship or relationship or work type thing, just so that everyone knows what's expected.
Yeah.
So I'm finding it's really difficult when expectations don't match. Yeah. So, yeah, that's just it. And I'm basically just really upset that my son's leaving, but I can't really show it to him because I don't want him to feel upset. Other than than to say that I'm going to be sad that he's leaving, but I don't want him to see how devastated I am, because my kids are my life. Yeah. So once they're gone, there's an empty nest thing, but mine, like, they were my nest.
Yeah.
So no, I'm the one that now no longer has a nest. I'm the one that's had to fly away, sort of thing, because they've found their little niches and their little homes, and now I'm the one who's lost without my little bird group. So, talking of birds. But and it's just a struggle, because now I'm free to do whatever it is I want, and I don't even know what it is I want. So,
wow, that's a big change, a big place to find yourself.
Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge. And everyone, like, it's hard for me to express to lots of other people just how much this is a change for me. It's like going from daytime into night. It's just 180 type. I've never not had other people to think about before myself. Well, it's always been my kids first, and now I don't have to put them first, and it's a very strange
That's
feeling.
going to be a big adjustment. Yep.
Yeah. It's very strange, and in some ways I'm still putting my daughter first, because I don't want to move too far away just in case she needs me. So I'm not going to move out of Queensland or anything, but I just want to be close enough. Like right now I'm 3 hours away if she really, really needs me, but if I go down to where my son's going to be, I'll be like 13 or 14, a couple of hours flight. But I don't like flying. I like to drive, so I've got my car. But anyway, that's just my life. How's everyone else going?
Well, it seems like we've got some challenges going.
Yes.
My challenges seem like very minimal compared to what you're dealing with, Cosmic.
I wouldn't say that at all.
I don't mean to minimize like what I'm going through, but I'm really sorry that you're dealing with this.
You can put the earbud in.
Hey, Michael.
Hello.
How are you?
I just got done changing out. I just got done changing out a muffler. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
So he's really, really
so I'm
dirty.
Yep. I look like I've been crawling in a chimney.
I thought they were tattoos at first.
I did too.
Oh, well, some of them are.
I mean, he's got him. It just not down where anybody can see him. But yeah.
I thought I'd say hi. See how you
Glad you
guys are
did.
doing.
Yeah. Good to,
How is it where you're at? It's good.
well, pretty
Weather's
good.
nice.
The weather is rainy, slightly on the chilly side, which I won't complain about since the air conditioning went out in this room.
Yeah.
Our mini splits out.
Oh
Right.
no.
So, yeah.
It's overcast
Right.
here, but nice though.
Oh, we love overcast.
Yeah,
Overcast,
overcast is good. No complaints.
right. All right, well, you guys get back to it. I'm going to go get cleaned up. Have a good day.
You too.
He just popped in. I wanted to say, Cosmic, I wanted to share with you, you know, it was really hard for me when my kids left, or, you know, and when I went on the road, and it's hard to be away from them, and it's hard to not have, like you said, somebody to look after all of the time. And it's really difficult as they grow and they develop their own lives or their own families to really, like, you know, understand and step back and give them space and understand. But it does break your heart because, you know, they don't need you the way that they did when they were little, you know, and it's not the same. It doesn't look the same. And it is a big adjustment to get used to, you know. So I
don't know if she's able to hear or not.
I can empathize.
Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she can.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I've got the camera off just in case. I'm not on my home computer, so I thought this might save it from cutting out so much.
Yeah,
But
no,
yeah,
but it is a change. It's a hard change, and it can make things difficult, you know. And I just want you to know that I love you, and I'll be sending out good thoughts and vibes to you, because it, just like having kids is a huge adjustment, letting them go off is a whole different adjustment, you know.
yeah.
And you triggered something in me, because that's something that's been at the forefront of my mind that I haven't gone public with. But I don't have children, and I think that I want them with the right person. I don't know that that's in the cards for me, so to speak. You know, like I don't know if that's something, like I don't know if I'll shack up or meet, like, you know, I don't know. I don't know. And so kind of accepting that my life might be without that experience that you're experiencing. It's like, I do empathize with having to let go of people that you love and that you have built a connection with. I don't get to see my family often at all. We're not in the same place. What you're talking about, though, really brings something up. It's like, man, will I ever experience what it's like to take care of a human? I take care of my sourdough starter, but that's not the same. And I just,
you know, when I got pregnant with Dally, I was 19 and I wasn't married, and I was terrified. I didn't know what my family was going to do. I didn't know what was going to happen. And it was one of the scariest moments in my life. And a story that I don't think I've ever shared was, so I had been babysitting for some friends, because I had kind of a difficult pregnancy, and all of my kids were difficult pregnancies. And so I didn't have like a regular 9-to-5 job. So I was babysitting for some friends of mine. And my oldest had been born, and she was home. And God, you guys, this is so bad. And she was just screaming, like I couldn't get her to quit crying. And I had put her in, at the time they had like a swinging bassinet. So it was a bassinet it looked like a swing set. You wound it up. I mean, this is back in the late 90s. And it just swung, and it was supposed to rock him to sleep. And she would not quit screaming. She would not quit crying. And I remember looking at her going, when is this child's mother going to come and get her? I need a nap. I need to go lay down. And then I looked at her and I'm like, oh my God, I'm the mother and no one's coming to get this child. Like I have to fix this. And so she was crying and I was crying because she wouldn't quit crying. And so the more I cried, the more she cried. And then my dad showed up and he just walks over, picks her up, puts her on his shoulder, and she just stops. And I'm like, my baby hates me. He's like, go to bed. He's like, just go to bed. But it is one of those moments that are, that sums it up in a nutshell. Is like, it's just what do you do, you know? And it's amazing and beautiful and the most heartbreaking thing you'll ever do all at the same time. Like it is so hard to explain, you know. But it's amazing, and if you find the right person, then it can be really wonderful, and it can be a challenge, and you guys can grow together. And I hope that's what you find, if that's in the cards for you. That, you know, and if not, y'all can get a dog. It's kind of the same. I'll send you Mikey and Sweetie. You can deal with them for a little while.
Yeah, I would love to get a dog. I can get, in the place where I live, emotional support animals are allowed. If it's not an emotional support animal, it's not allowed. But I'm like, okay, I mean, emotional support animal, I can do that. At the same time, I'm like, man, can I afford an emotional support animal? Like, I can't. Can I afford? I'm like scraping by to buy groceries, and so I'm like. I can't even really, it's hard for me to imagine being able to afford a child right now,
but that's
which is a huge.
You're never ready. You're never ready.
No.
You never think you're ready. And that's because I wasn't ready to have my child until 6 months after I'd had my child. But there was a lot of postnatal depression and stuff. He didn't feel like mine, but it was 6 months into it. I'm like, yeah, nah, mine now. You know, I've adapted and all that sort of stuff, and it's, you know, and it is the hardest thing I've ever done, but it's also the best, and I wouldn't give it up for anything. But you know, my daughter's not going to have children, and there's people out there, like I tell them, and they try and convince her to have children, and I'm like, but why would I? That would be convincing her to have children that I'll probably end up looking after. You know, if she really doesn't want to have the child, and you know, I've had my 2 kids, and it's hard enough having gone through everything I've gone through without having to go through it again. You know, and that's one of the things, like, that's why I wanted to be a foster parent, because it's like you do adapt, and you do learn to love them like you would your own, but you don't go through all the heartbreak of all the younger years and and all that sort of stuff, you know, and they're older and they can talk to you and they can tell you what they need and what they want. When kids are little, all they do is scream at you. And you're just like, wow, what's wrong? But yeah, that's one of the things I find that I do well with children who can talk. But yeah, other than that, like I've not got any problem with my daughter, or even if my son doesn't have children, I don't have that must pass on my family heritage type thing, because I don't know most of my family heritage anyway. But if they want to have kids and all that sort of stuff, and anything happens, I'll support them 100%. So, but I think not having children is a valid choice as well, you know. You know, and some people it's not even a choice. So I just think no one should ever feel bad for whatever situation they have. And you know, I missed out on a lot by having children because I was I was supposed to go into a full-on career and all that sort of stuff. That was my dreams as a child, and then it switched as soon as I had kids. And I'm not all oh, if only I had it. Yeah. Because it didn't cross my mind to ever think that way. But, you know, it's just, I suppose now I can do whatever it is I felt like I might have missed out on.
I know my dad told me, he said, children drag children kicking and screaming into parenthood. And I'm like, That kind of is how that went for me. But yeah, and I've got one daughter that I've got 2 grandbabies by, and they're amazing. And then I've got my youngest daughter is like, yeah, I don't really think I want kids, like, and I'm good with that. I mean, I think it's a personal choice, and like I said, it's the most rewarding, frustrating, amazing, aggravating, heartbreaking, gut-wrenching thing all at the same time. It's just that. But I think if you ever did decide to have kids, I do think you would be an amazing mom. And
I
if
think so
not, you would
too.
be an amazing pet mom. And that's kind of the same. And if you don't want any of them, then you know what? You're a hell of a surfer. So there you go. You're slaying life however you go.
I need to get
It's
back
good.
in the water. That's the thing. And I think, Cosmic, on the heels of what you were saying, I think we're sort of like on opposite ends of the spectrum, where like I chose to not have children. I chose to not marry a man that I was dating who has a child. And it was because I wanted my independence. I wanted to be able to find myself and know who I was before starting a family. And now here I am. I'm like, all right, here I am alone.
Where are you?
Right.
Which is not. It's not. I'm not complaining at all. I have a very simple, very awesome life. Like, I'm not complaining at all. It's just thinking about the next steps. I don't want to do it alone. I have a friend who fosters solo, and she absolutely loves it. That's not something I want to do personally, though. So I'm just like, all right, kind of like Hail Mary. Is it gonna happen or is it not? And I think I just have to. It's like the acceptance piece that, like, if it's meant to be, then hopefully it will be, and with an amazing person.
Yes, and that's the important part. I've been a married mom. I've been a single mom. I've been a divorced mom. I was married to the kids' dad. I was married to someone who, Michael's not any of my children's dads. So I've kind of had all of those, experiences. And if you find someone that you really love and you have a connection with, then, having children can be a very, very beautiful thing. If you force the issue and it's not that, then it can be really difficult. But it's not difficult because of the kids. It's, and doing it, with somebody that you love and that supports you and is there for you, it makes it a much more beautiful experience. Even when they're older, like the kids were not little when Michael came along. So no, not tiny, but I mean, I guess they were still end of elementary school into middle school. So I had to think. So yeah, we've been married for 10 years. I forget that. But it's amazing to have that support. So, I think, I mean, it sounds like you have the right ideas. So
If I can ask, what are some questions that you think would be good conversational topics for a man that you think might be a good fit?
What are your thoughts on therapy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Right.
anyone who's willing to go to therapy, and I'm not talking like
Right.
therapy. I'm talking about for themselves as someone who's showing that they're willing to grow and learn about themselves and possibly fix whatever it is that's causing them issues, because that's something that I've found over the years. A majority of people who have been abusive or, red flaggy, they won't do any sort of therapy. There was one particular person, we didn't work for specific reasons, but he was willing to go to therapy. And I was like, that's actually a green flag, despite all his other red flags. But willing, if he was willing to work on some of those other red flags, and I had more time to care about it, you never know what could have happened. But it was just something that I've not come across very often, is, men willing to go to therapy, but that could be because of the people I come across. Who knows? But I just think that's something that's important.
I think, me personally, having not been successful at it in the past, and then having a good marriage now, I think that you guys really should agree or get as close to agreeing as you can on the big topics: money, religion, those kind of things, like spirituality. So I think that that's important. And just, how, like, what do they want? I mean, if you're, do they want children? Like, if you want kids, do they want kids? If they don't want kids, is that a deal breaker for you? Is it important that they have a career? Because you got to pay for a lifestyle. So, I mean, it's not bad for a man or a woman to want someone who can contribute in some meaningful way, right? Mm-hmm. So, do they have a good career? And look at their stability. I mean, how long have they been at their career? How are they bouncing from job to job to job to job every 6 months? What do they do? I mean, are they in management? Are they, like, what does that look? And how do they delegate and deal with people? I think a lot of it is just watching them, watch how they treat waiters and waitresses and cashiers.
I was just
that's
thinking that
big
take
one
them to
for
somewhere
me.
where has got bad service and see how they treat
Yeah, see what they do. And where what's important to them. Like, if they're more materialistic and you're not, that could be difficult, because maybe they've got a good job and maybe you line up on everything else, right? But that part of it could cause issues, because if they're spending all of the money on whatever, and you have just this very simple life, that could cause friction. So I think it's just a conversation. And honestly, when Michael and I first got together, he sat me down. I'm not even joking. And he's like, I got a handicap. Here's the deal. I've got X amount of kids. I pay X amount of child support a month. This is what I do. This is what my ex is like. This is what my kids are like. This is what you're walking into. And that was honestly, like, I can never say I didn't know. So somebody who just is honest with you, who just sits down and is like, here's the deal. I mean, that's what I would look for, with my girls. That's what I tell them, and someone who treats you right. Treats you the way you want to be treated. Someone you get along with, somebody who can make you laugh, somebody who can get you out of a bad mood. Those are all really important too, So
have
it's
you ever
not
seen Practical Magic? Like, where they write down all the stuff, well, what she wants in a man. And that's something in a relationship. And it's something I think that's actually could be useful. Because you write down all the things. Yeah, well, it's a version of manifesting. That's also writing. It's also putting it, defining it in your own mind. Because I don't know what I want in dinner half the time. So, but if I write down a list, I might know a little bit more of what I might want to eat. If I know what's available out there, or what my options are, and what I actually enjoy. And I think that's something that could work in that as well. Like, you just write down. I don't know. I don't think you have to be terribly specific, like certain height, or one blue eye, one green eye, which I think was in Practical Magic. That was in the movie, but so I just think that you just write down this general stuff, and I think if you and you can kind of tell in a lot of ways if people match up. I think if you sort of trusting your gut to what it is on your list, and whoever can get closest to your list, because I don't think anyone's ever going to be perfect.
No.
So, and it's also what you might want to provide in a relationship to the other person, so what your expectations and wants are to provide for the other person. And that might be helpful for anything as well, because I'm a list person. I need to write down lists for everything. So I might start writing down a list of what I might want in my future now. So, that's a handy thing that might relate to me as well. So I was actually listening to you earlier about your ketamine treatment, Tara, and I was thinking maybe it's because it's actually working, so you need, as things start becoming more effective, like pain relief and all that stuff, like you start losing the pain, you need less and less of whatever it is that you're actually required, what you're taking. So it might be that your treatment's really, really working. So that could be a positive.
That's a really good point. It absolutely is working. There's no doubt in my mind that it's been a game changer for me. So I need to, I think, take my own advice. What I would tell anybody else if they communicated these things to me is that I need to talk with my nurse practitioner about what I'm experiencing and help or allow her to help me make a decision. Because she at this point kind of, it's like a team effort. Like she lets me chime in and kind of choose my dose. Now I'm at the maximum dose. She won't put me over that because of my weight. I can't take any more. But I think to your point, I need to just initiate a conversation with her about next steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I was just thinking because, sometimes if I know what I'll do is I always think about all the worst things in my head. So I try and reframe it into the most positive way first. So at least I've got that in the back of my head, even as all the bad things are going through. Because it's probably more likely to be the positive one than the negative one, just going by the thing of statistics. So, yeah, but I hope it works, because it's something that I was actually going to talk to my psychologist about. Some sort of treatment for something, because whatever's happening right now isn't working. So, which is nothing. I'm not taking any medication. So it's not working. But yeah.
I would say, good question would be, how is our relationship different than the relationship between your parents? And of course, then there'd be the obligatory thing after. You're being chased down the hall by a sourdough starter. What do you do?
I was going to say, Tara, one thing that I think would be really important to me is, are they willing to learn? If they're willing to learn, then they're willing to grow, they're willing to adapt, they're willing to change. And I can tell you that the person that I was when I married Michael is not who I am today, and the same. And it's because we've been willing to grow and change and adapt. And I think that's important. Just, are they willing to learn?
Yeah.
And how do they treat you when you have messed something up?
Yeah.
Like, because the narcissist is going to come at you and be like, oh, not off the bat, but they're going to have some underpinnings of things that's going to kind of make you, or are they like, hey, it's okay, and everybody's going to have, like, let's say that you, I don't know, break the most prized thing that they have. Are they going to be upset? Well, yes, of course, anyone would be. But how do they manage that? Watch them when they're angry. Watch them when they're upset. Watch them when they're happy, around kids, around animals. I think a lot of it is more just observing, truthfully, because people can tell you whatever they think you want to hear. And if you're hung in with a narcissist, they're going to tell you exactly what you want to hear. Watching. And people that are close to you, that love you, if they see you interact, like, what are they saying about them? That's another thing too.
That's a question that came up earlier this morning. Somebody was asking, how are narcissists attracted to empaths? And the answer is yes. And it actually falls down to something. The simple explanation is simply, of course, opposites attract. But oftentimes it's because the narcissist has had, he or she requires emotional input. We all do.
Yeah.
But they're seeking it, and empaths like to fix people. They
Mm-hmm.
like to give people emotional support and things like that. We're just naturally drawn to doing that. And
We're
yeah,
called their
and like
source.
Shannon, narcissists tend to feed off empaths. It's really interesting though. They do oftentimes attract each other. And
Mm-hmm.
I can't find any definitive answer other than just basic needs. And like I said earlier, just the simple opposites attract.
Well, if I attract someone who doesn't like sourdough, that's a deal breaker.
There you go. There you go. First question out of the gate. Tell me how you feel about sourdough.
Ask them what they name their sourdough.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome.
And that's one thing that I found lately is, speaking of sourdough, I've researched it and found it is actually very common for people to name their sourdough starter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not everybody does, but this girl, she do. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and that's one thing I'm finding now as I get older is being not proven wrong. Changing your mind is actually a strength. It's not a weakness, because somebody who
Mm-hmm.
doesn't change their mind, they're saying, well, I know it all, and damn the
Mm-hmm.
evidence, I've made up my mind, this is the way it is. But yeah, I've had my mind changed on, oh my gosh, so many things. What were
Right.
we talking about a couple nights ago? Psilocybin, um,
Mm-hmm.
all sorts of things. It's just amazing to me
Mm-hmm.
how yeah, somebody doesn't change their mind, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's because a lot of
Growing.
people would rather be right than correct. Like
Mm-hmm.
they'd rather feel right than actually be correct through facts.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I don't do. I don't argue unless I know the facts
Mm-hmm.
as best as I can,
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise I'm not coming into the argument prepared. But I find that most people would rather be correct or right than actually listen. And I think a lot of times
Yeah.
people listen to hear a break in the conversation rather than actually hear what was said before the break.
Right.
Yes.
So, and I find that it happens a lot. It used to happen a lot with one of my relationship. So he wouldn't actually listen to anything I'd say. So I'd just he would. So I'd say something, and then he would say something that didn't actually reflect anything that I'd just said, and it actually led into my gaslighting, because I was just like, am I that silly or stupid that he's not understanding me, or is it this the purposeful thing? So it was part of the gaslighting thing for him to act like he never understood me, or to twist my words and everything around all the time. So it always made me feel like I wasn't making sense.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually, I don't even know where I was going with that. But yeah, I just find that some.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I know. It's right.
Can I chime in on Seventh Son's comment about the sourdough starter?
Sure.
So he says, I imagine my sourdough starter is dead. Been months, 2 or 3, since I've fed it. It might not be dead. It might not be dead. But if there's black mold on the top of it, then toss it for sure. But if there's just a gray layer, or if there's like a layer of liquid on top of it, or a hard layer without mold on it, or if the mold is like...
Do you name the mold?
Well, I mean, I toss it if there's mold on it. They say there's certain colors where you can salvage the starter if you just take it out. Like if it's just on the top, I can't remember what colors those are, but if it's like pink or if it's black, I know that that's history. You got to just toss the whole thing out. But I think if it's just a little bit of like green mold, or if it's blue, and double check me on this, but you can like scrape it off. If it's in the refrigerator, I think he said it's in the refrigerator. If it's in the refrigerator, it might be fine, and all you need to do is feed it. It's really hard to kill a sourdough starter, but mold, some types of mold, it's a done deal. But if it doesn't have that, then you can feed it a few times and bring it back.
Good to know.
I'm sorry. I still think of that stupid plant on Feed Me, Seymour.
Rocky
Horror.
Yeah.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, the other one's got the sweet transvestite in it.
Yeah.
I love them
Horror.
both.
I do too, so much.
Yeah, I
Love
was in
Tim
musicals
Curry.
of them at high school. I couldn't believe it. Like, I grew up and then I watched the movies as an adult. I was like, why were they letting us do this as children? But yeah, I guess I had to keep the adult teachers entertained because, it'd be a bit boring doing Mary Had a Little Lamb every year.
Right. We were talking about,
KTS worker, what can we help you with?
I can't see the chat.
I can't either.
He's over in the lifeboat. He or she is over in the lifeboat. So if I try to type it in, chances are it won't be seen.
Mm.
I came for help and the topic is mold. Well, we'll help you any way we can. Just let us know how we can help you.
Yeah, we're real good at changing topics.
Yeah.
We're good at that. Unless you need help with mold, in which case we can carry on.
I can't help you. I need to throw out my bathroom, apparently.
It is a little bit confusing, Misha. Yeah. Yes.
Quitting alcohol.
Okay.
Maybe we can bring it back to the topic to help KTS out. What is the topic?
Well, let's make it quitting alcohol.
Okay.
Let's make it that.
Okay.
Okay.
I quit because somebody made me in order to keep a roof over my head, but it stuck because I realized that I was drinking myself to death, and I realized also that I didn't want to die. So that kind of spurred me on and made me get serious about, at that time, working a 12-step program in Alcoholics Anonymous. I would not have gotten sober without Alcoholics Anonymous. I know that. But for long term, I kind of went a different direction. And it worked for me, but, it's not something I would recommend.
And for me, I got to the point where I had a friend call me out. I was drinking so much, and it was such a normal thing for me. He called me out one day because I had a friend we were hanging out in an RV in Mexico. My other friend came by, knocked on the door. He's like, Smiles. He used to call me Smiles. He's like, Smiles, you want a shot? And I go, sure. And I took it back. And my other friend who doesn't drink was like, have you ever said no to a shot or a drink in your life? And I was like, why would I do that? It just didn't even occur to me that it was a possibility that I could live without alcohol. Yeah. And so from that day forward, I started to observe myself. And very shortly after, I decided that I was going to try to live without it. And I was not successful. At that moment, I caved a few times. But then after caving a few times, I realized that that's not something that I wanted to live with, and found myself being brought to my first meeting. I mean, I'm making a long story very short, but someone had the insight to bring me to my first meeting, similar to what Carol was saying. I got clean and sober in Alcoholics Anonymous for the first 18 months of my recovery. And then I kind of outgrew it, if you will. I started taking mental health medication, and I felt like I couldn't be authentic in the fellowship anymore, taking mental health medication. So I sought out this online community, and it took me a little while to find this community in particular. but support, in my experience, whether it be 12-step or whether it be communities like this and like the Lifeboat, they have really made a difference in me being able to stay clean and sober. Support.
Yeah.
Support.
I'll tell you what I did practically is I went to
Yes.
the doctor first and said that I needed help because I had friends that told me that I needed help. So I went to the doctor, had a blood test, saw that my like levels of whatever it is that shows that your liver isn't working properly. And I just kept having checkups on that. And I went to detox twice, like the actual hospital detox, which is hospital and alcohol drug service, or here in Australia. It was difficult, hard and fast detox. They put you on, I wouldn't recommend doing any sort of, depending on your level of drinking. Regardless, I'd always go to your doctor because giving up alcohol in particular is quite dangerous, especially if you can't go cold turkey straight up because you can have seizures or a whole range of other health implications that would be better if you were under a doctor's care, just if you know. For me personally, I sort of cut myself down before I went to detox, so that detox was easier. I didn't have as many withdrawals and all that sort of stuff, and I'm only like 130 something days into it, so it's not, I'm still pretty new. And in the end, it was my friends and being at my friend's house and doing a detox through there that really, really helped, because I didn't feel trapped like I was in the detox thing, but do whatever it takes for you to do it safely. And, it's a really big step to even, reach out like this, and it's something to be proud of.
And I'm curious. Oh, go ahead.
I want to know, KTS, what difficulty you're having right now. Are you, and where you are in this? What are you? Have you quit? Are you thinking about quitting? And what can we do to help?
Yep, same question here.
It's also important anytime someone is ready to quit, please speak to a medical professional. There are no smart. There's smart or effective way to practice not being drunk while drinking. It took me a long time to understand the concept of disrupting my blood and internal systems. I was not fine ever. Yeah, Blake. Yeah, you know what? I feel you on that. I was only able to do AA for about 7 months. I work in health. AA does not resonate with me at all. I work in healthcare, and I don't trust trauma from working healthcare. Do not trust USA healthcare.
Yeah, I didn't like. Well, it's not that I didn't like AA, but I tried Smart Recovery, and it's a different sort of process.
Yeah,
and there's
Smart
lots of
Recovery
different
is.
groups out there, but I feel personally that peer support is one of the best types, because there are people in these groups who understand what you're going through to an extent, and they've been through it, or they're going through it themselves at the same time, and that's a lot of things that you don't get from healthcare workers. Or even like my therapist. Pretty sure my therapist has had a perfectly stable life from the way he comes across. But yeah, I find that talking to people who've been through similar is something that's really helpful, as well as it needs to be a holistic approach. You need doctors and therapists and peer support and actual family support and friend support if you've got that around you.
Yeah.
And Kate,
go ahead.
I was going to say, KTS worker, if you're able to and willing, a good therapist will help you a lot too, because a lot of, now I didn't struggle with drinking too much, but I did struggle with compulsive behaviors. And there's a lot of core beliefs about yourself and things like that to start working on as well, to kind of help you to and not necessarily at the beginning, but to help you to understand some of those behaviors and thought processes, so you can work on that as well. And even in the beginning stages, just having someone to talk to, peer support therapist who can be there for you and help you. We're all peer support. We're not therapists, but therapists can offer you a lot of information and really be a help to you if that's something that you're willing to do and is available to you. I would recommend looking into that as well. If AA doesn't resonate, like Carol said, smart recovery, you know, or the therapist might have something to, or both of those in conjunction.
KTS, are you able to quit, to not drink without having any symptoms of, you know, withdrawal? Oh, yes, KTS. This is the workbook from Smart Recovery, what we were just talking about. I have the website in my community part of my channel. You can go to meetings online. Most places offer local meetings where you can go in person. It's more of an approach of not, you know, making you be stuck to being an alcoholic so much as, you know, okay, this is who I was then, but who am I now, and where am I? What am I? What are my goals? You know?
Yeah, they focus on the last 7 days and the next. They focus on the last 7 days and the next 7 days, not the past or too far in the future, so it feels doable. And you can go to meetings throughout the day. So, you know, if you're having, you know, it depends on your work schedule and all that sort of stuff. But whenever you need a meeting, you can always go to a meeting. And that's around the world. And it's more about learning about urges and controlling, being able to learn how to control those, and harm minimization, which is a really important thing to, you know, harm minimization is not about just giving up straight away. It's about reducing harm so that it makes it easier and healthier for you to give up eventually if that's what you want.
I wonder, is there if there's not, there needs to be a recovery for healthcare professionals. Is there something like that anybody's ever heard of?
In some of the smart meetings, they've actually got groups for specifically health professionals. So you have to be a health professional to be in those meetings. They've even got one for pilots, which I found a bit scary. But yeah, so that you can. There's one specifically for healthcare workers, because I would say that the healthcare workers have a unique set of issues that, you know, I have no idea about. So.
I think I learned in my peer support training that there's also peer support groups for healthcare professionals. There's definitely peer support for police officers. I think healthcare professionals have those sort of groups as well. So it might be worth talking to if there's some sort of therapist or head of therapeutic services at the place where you work. Or human resources or something like that, that you can tap into and find out if there is peer support available for healthcare workers. Now, I don't know if you're comfortable, KTS, with going and trying to take care of it within your workplace, or if you'd rather keep them separate. I'm curious about I'm curious about your thoughts on that.
Yeah, Smart Recovery might be a good place to get some peer support. Peer support is important. Admiral Tommy says the opposite of addiction is connection. And we're not going to be able to do it alone.
I gotta say,
anybody who has tried has generally been on a dry drunk. My dad quit drinking, and he was a dry drunk, and it was miserable living with him, growing up with him. Anyway, go ahead, Christy. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, you know, I wasn't dealing with alcohol addiction, but peer support has definitely helped me, you know, maintain my eating and, you know, doing that in a healthy way. So peer support is very important, and places like this, like Needing a Meeting in the Lifeboat, I think you're going to find a lot of support there. And have you thought of a holistic? They have those, like where I live, they're like Amish doctors, but they're holistic doctors. So they're not in the medical, they're not like
Not
how do I explain it?
conventional.
There you go. That's the word I'm looking for. But they can still treat you, they're just coming at it from a holistic place, as opposed to a conventional medical. So I don't know if maybe that's something that might be helpful to you. I don't know if you thought of, because I know I had never thought of going to a doctor like that until someone mentioned something to me. And they found him to be extremely helpful. So.
And KTS,
possibly.
I'm not sure if you're open to working with a peer support specialist one-on-one. I do offer one-on-one sessions with people. You can email me if it's something that you're interested in. I'd be happy to work with you. But I know, so not everybody resonates with everybody, but
Right.
I'm happy to support you in any way I can. My email is, it's tarasmiling@yahoo.com.
And I personally go and I see a naturopath. Now, naturopaths, at least in the United States, are trained medical doctors, but then they take classes after the fact that then get them in a naturopath. And my particular naturopath, she will steer me more towards lifestyle changes, but she'll still go into conventional medicine when it's needed, like for my blood pressure, for example. I was at the point where I couldn't do that through diet alone, so she's got me on a low key. Whoa, I got an echo. I know American Addiction Centers has a program for medical professionals that are in addiction as well. So I know there's a few programs out there.
Yeah.
And it's also important to know, especially with any sort of group, AA or Smart Recovery or any sort of peer support or any sort of group at all. If the group doesn't seem right to you, it's not a you problem. It's probably just find a different group.
Yeah.
I found that
That's
I
right.
didn't mesh well with my AA group, and that's actually something that really turned me off AA. Personally, as well as a few other things. But and it's the same as Smart Recovery. I did all the groups until I found the ones that I meshed with and liked. And because some groups aren't, I like informal and all that sort of stuff. Some aren't informal, and I didn't work well with that. And some had different personalities that I didn't mesh with, so I just moved on. And it's something but it did take me a little while to realize that it wasn't a me problem. You just got to find the right tribe, basically.
Yeah. And just because it's a good program doesn't mean it's a good group within the program.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
There are groups that have more recovery and more maturity than others,
Me personally, I am not a recovering alcoholic. I just happen to get lucky with the genes on that. However, I am a recovering codependent, and I find connection helps me immensely. If nothing else, I learn through daily repetition by hanging out with people is I don't have to be a people pleaser. I can disagree with people, and that's okay. Just simply reinforcing that upon me has done me a world of good.
The lifeboat says, "Glad you're here, KTS. You are not alone in this struggle. Not at all."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that's an important thing, is just understanding and knowing that you're not alone. And there are people because that can be so isolating, when you're going through something and you feel alone. So I'm glad that you're here.
Yeah.
There's also, I'm not sure if you're on Discord or how into tech and apps you are, but we've got a Discord, the Lifeboat Discord.
Yes.
And there's pretty much always people on there to reach out to. I can't post a link for it, but if someone can post a link up, for an invite. That'd be good for anyone else who might want to
Misha,
join.
do you have that?
And,
do you have that link, Misha? If you can post it on the Lifeboat side to the Discord server. I think she does, Cosmic.
And there's, I think so. I can't actually go into it. I might lose everybody. I can try, and then I can send Misha the. I'll do that. I'll be.
A lot of help. I bet some such social interaction would benefit largely. Yeah. Yeah, you know, just when you're alone with your own thoughts, trying to quit anything that's addictive, that can be a really bad place. Just don't be alone with your thoughts. There's what we're trying to do. The Lifeboat and, you know, this channel, we're trying to create something where there's something that somebody can come to anytime. The Discord server is pretty good about, you know, people being there when you need them. And yeah, because I mean, first quitting drinking is just like surviving from crisis to crisis. It is. And you need to you're not alone, and know who your tribe is, and that you got it. You know, you've got your peeps. And we're willing to be your peeps if that helps.
I put the link in our Facebook group, meeting Facebook group. Misha?
Okay.
Or you, Carol, or whoever can. But
I can do.
I think, and also there's lots of different ways you can connect, and it doesn't always have to be about recovery. Like for me, I made recovery my job. It was 100. That's all I could think about, and I needed to do that because one, I had the luxury because you know I can. I don't have to worry about work or anything like that. And two, if I didn't, I wouldn't have got to this point. So, but now I realize that I can't focus on that all the time. So I need other things. So now I'm starting crochet and joining crochet groups and, you know, reaching outside the recovery space for other things that I'm like my interest groups as well. Just because, you know, you got to have some fun. Life can't all be about seriousness and, you know, it can't always be a struggle, you know, so find something that you really enjoy and, you know, maybe reach out and find connection through that as well, if you can.
Yeah.
And I've been hosting. I'm going to be so go ahead. Sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I've been hosting a Discord meeting. Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me. Okay. I've been hosting a Discord meeting for free on Thursday nights at 6:00 Pacific time. We've been having great turnouts lately. It's a 90-minute meeting starting at 6 Pacific. So the more the merrier. If you want to come and join us and connect, it's a great group of people.
Yeah, I've got generalized anxiety disorder. So I know what the anxiety thing is as well. So that's why I find the online groups a lot easier than I don't think I could go to an actual crochet group at this point. So it's more so online at the moment because that's how I find connection and help get past that anxiety thing because I don't have to interact straight up. I can pick when I want to. So, yeah.
Blake Reed says, I have a family member who's seriously struggling with alcoholism from long-term trauma and depression. And the hardest thing about it is they think we don't get it. Yeah. Yeah. You know, I think that's also a dangerous place to be is to think that you're unique. that, you know, nobody can understand, you know, your addiction and, you know, your unique set of circumstances within your addiction. It may not look exactly the same, but kind of all, you know, really a whole lot unique. It's about alcoholism in that way. Am I making sense?
Yeah, because I actually had that sort of problem myself because, without going into details, I was walking around going, oh, nobody's been through exactly this, so you can't know exactly how I feel, so, oh, woe is me, blah, blah, blah. And I was being really dramatic about it. And it's true, no one had been through exactly that, but that's not to say that they didn't understand through their own circumstances. I was just so lost in my own trauma and my own sadness that I couldn't see out of
Yeah.
it. So I think that might be a lot of, when people are stuck in it, they can't see anything other than themselves because all they can feel is, like, depression is quite insular, and
Yes, it is.
yeah. So, and when you're depressed, you feel
So is
it just,
alcohol.
yeah, that's
Addiction
true.
is.
It is,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. It is insular,
Mm-hmm.
and depending on, your circumstances of what you got. I drank alone. I was always drinking. My issues were when I was drinking alone because I could drink more. No one had to see me get messy. No one had to comment on how much I was drinking and all that sort of stuff. And, that's not our culture over here in Australia, drinking alone. It's good to go out and be social. And when you're not a social person, it's the only way in some cases that I could be social was because I was drinking to go out, But,
Right.
and so it seemed like that was okay at the time because I was like, oh, I'm only drinking to be social. But when I was drinking
Mm-hmm.
so I could get through the day, and I didn't see
Yeah.
that's what I was doing, that's when it becomes a problem. And
Yeah.
so, and I wasn't being social at all about it. So
I wanted to answer Rip Curl Readiness's question. A dry drunk is somebody who stops drinking, but they don't stop the behaviors that went along with their drinking or their thought processes. You have to change your behavior. You do have to change your thought processes to live a fulfilled life. Otherwise, you're just not drinking and pissed off. That's what my dad was. As I grew up with my my older brother, got to know him as the fun drinking person my mom used to talk about, and I never got to see that person. I just saw somebody who was mean and mad and not happy, and judgy and all of that stuff.
that's where I was going.
Yeah.
If I hadn't stopped, because I was so mad all the time, and
Yeah.
I was known to be that people used to invite me to parties because I was, fun, I guess you could say, because for some reason I can do that. I don't know where it comes from, but when I stopped being fun was when everybody else noticed that there was something going on, sort of thing. And I wasn't fun at all. I was really mean, and I use the excuse of being blunt. I'm just being honest. But there's a difference between being honest and just being downright cruel and malicious, and I was starting to get to that point. And that's when I knew that I had to sort of really do something about it because I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want my kids to grow up thinking about me like I think about my mother when she drinks.
Yeah. The person Blake was talking about in the few comments back, they care so strongly about their image because the family shames them. And it sucks because it would be so much easier to look past how something looks if it means helping them work past it. Yeah. Peer support was the only thing saving grace for me, and sobriety, this go at it. Yeah.
I'm so lucky. I didn't get shamed at all. I just got support. I think if I had been shamed, I would have gone further into it because it would have just made me want to drink more to cover the feeling of shame.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one.
Really, yeah. And I think that's something that's really important about the majority of peer support groups that I've been involved in. There's no guilt tripping or judgment, or shame.
Mm-hmm.
Shaming.
Right on.
Yeah.
KTS is saying, I'm exhausted. I can appreciate that. I can so appreciate that. I remember that feeling like it was yesterday, and I've been clean over 30 years now, but I still remember that. It's still just as fresh and raw when I think about it as it was back then. You know, obviously not exactly the same amount of acuteness, but I never forget that feeling, ever. Ever. I think the issue is not connecting. Yeah. Yeah.
And it's so, oh, go ahead, Ben.
I was just going to say that is so interesting about that feeling exhausted, because that was the thing I noticed. I noticed at the dual recovery center was that even for people where depressive or codependent like moi, even we were the first 2 weeks, you're up there and you're just a mess. You're just, oh, so tired. And to say nothing about people who have that plus chemical dependency. Wow.
Mm-hmm. What were you going to say, Tara?
I think everyone here talking about how peer support has been the answer for them is really got a solid understanding of what the solution is. And I think that's why AA, I know not everybody here is into AA, and I'm not condoning AA by any means, but I think that's why it worked so well for me in the beginning, because it was an automatic peer support group without even realizing that's what I was doing. And now that I'm pursuing it as a line of work, it's kind of mind-blowing to me that I was introduced to this like magical thing before I even realized what I was getting into. I think whatever peer support group one ends up engaging with, whatever resonates, it's helpful. It's helpful. Whether it's Smart Recovery or AA or needing a meeting or the lifeboat, you know, it's all.
Tara smiling.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And you do have the ability to come on here and connect and talk without, like me, using the camera if you don't want to use the camera.
Yeah.
And that way it's a lot quicker.
Yep.
Yeah. So and there's also in Discord there's live like voice chat as well. If there's not always someone on, but you can generally ask and someone will jump on if they can. So there's lots of ways related to here, like these two groups that you can connect if throughout, even without them being the live meetings. And there are lifeboat meetings throughout the day as well, and other related ripple type group meetings. And I find that really helps because, especially because I see so many names and so many faces, that's a form of connection with me, even if I'm not talking or in the chat, because these are people I know and have, well, know something about, at least through the lifeboat generally. So it's like, that's a form of connection, because even if I'm not talking, I feel connected because I can hear their voice. It's familiar. They're talking about interesting subjects generally, or even just, it's just sometimes just background noise, but it's familiarity and it's comfort. And I find that's really helpful for me personally. I'm not sure if it's helpful for anybody else. It's just throwing out there because I feel whatever works. And I tried a lot of things, and I can't define one in particular that worked the best. But I do think peer support is right up there.
Yeah, I feel you, ATS. I feel you. I do.
Am I wrong about the lifeboat? It's 5 p.m., right? On weekday? Okay. I got that part wrong. I just know it's after I get home and sit down and usually eat.
I think there's a lot in that. KTS is saying, above my healthcare job, I went on to study healthcare ethics and was involved in a lot of ethical dilemmas through COVID. Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah.
And I reckon that would be, I think that would make the very strongest of people tired. I know a lot of healthcare workers over here in Australia who are no longer in the healthcare industry because, one, they weren't appreciated, and two, they're burnt out. You know, you get burnout when you're constantly caring after other people. You burn out, and you're fighting against the system.
On top of it, what she's talking about here, no one is supposed to talk about it in healthcare. We're supposed to put up and shut up.
Yes.
That is so isolating, and isolation is never a good place for addiction.
No.
I have a girlfriend,
And it's,
Katie. Oh, sorry.
No. Go ahead,
I have a girlfriend who, through she was on the front lines. She's in healthcare also. She's a nurse. And she was diagnosed with PTSD after the pandemic or during the pandemic and took a leave of absence. I'm wondering if she might be someone that you could connect with. If that's something you're interested in, I'd be happy to connect the two of you.
And Allison, I wanted to say I'm so sorry about your family member. I'm very sorry to hear that, and I'm so sorry for your loss. This is a great conversation. I hate to leave at the moment. I have to help celebrate my little brother's 20th birthday. Have fun. Stinking thinking. That's one of the things that will get us in trouble when we're addicts. Speak up more often. The lifeboat says, yes, I want to get to know you more. Yes, and I do too, KTS.
Me too.
And Kristen Melinda says, KTS worker, I'm so sorry. I have felt that way too. Different thing. But I was a case manager in community mental health care for 4 years, and I burned out pretty hard for a bit. Yeah. She said, Kristen Melinda also says, the connection and people you can talk to really is the secret sauce. At least it has been for me. The whole reason I got stuck into this was for anxiety. Yeah. Yeah, it's, and the ironic thing is the substances, when you're not under the influence of them, make the anxiety worse. I was trying to self-medicate for depression, anxiety, manic behaviors, I had all kinds of mental maladies going on, and I was trying to manage them with drugs and alcohol. And it darn near destroyed me.
I just wanted to say, see you until tomorrow. I've got to get going. It's cold outside and it's making me cough a lot. So I just wanted to say this was a really great conversation. And KTS work, I hope we see you about a lot more. And so I love you guys, and I'll see you.
Love you too, Cosmic.
Love you too.
Good to see you. I logged out of my PC. I'm surrounded by my addictions every day. Mayonnaise entertainment. It's why I live and work. Sometimes I just have to get away. Yeah. I'm taking anti-anxiety meds with one trusted doctor, but it is overwhelming, the crap that is going on. I'm sorry. I wish I could make it easier for you. I really do. Wish I could just take a little bit of that burden.
I think you are, Carol. I think exactly like what you're doing now is a huge help to so many people. And we can't necessarily fix people's problems, but I think what you're doing is just invaluable.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
It circles back to connection. It does. It does. our addiction can so isolate us, I got to the point that I was not able to be around polite company at all. I was just so far gone. And it was the most isolating thing besides a really bad marriage that I had come out of with a person who was isolating. But yeah, it does circle back to connection. You all, Awaken says, this place is so helpful on so many levels, so many people who struggle one way, another, together. We are on this boat together. Unfortunately, too much stigma for such a widespread issue. Yeah, the stigma's stupid.
Yeah.
The stigma's just stupid. Nobody sets out to become an addict to anything. Nobody makes that their life's mission or their life's goal. No kid says when they grow up, oh, I want to be an alcoholic. Oh, I want to be a drug addict. Oh, I want to be a gambling addict. Oh, I want to be a sex addict. Nobody says that as a kid.
I want to be in a cult.
I want to be in a cult. Yeah. Absolutely, KTS worker. Everyone who worked in healthcare was expected to do so very much with so little support, which is ridiculous. I don't know what the answer in healthcare is, but there's got to be one besides people just getting fed up and leaving the profession.
Yeah,
the thing is, go
that's
ahead.
something my doctor has talked to me about a lot of times. That it was just getting to be too much for her.
Yeah, the commonalities are important. Good for you, Matrix. COVID got me too. It was hard to get back on the horse and go outside.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's still hard. I don't get out nearly like I did before. So the lifeboat wants to know, are you struggling to stop drinking, or have you stopped and just struggling with the day-to-day? I was a popular drunk, Seventh Son says. Yeah. Okay. I was till I wasn't.
Right. In my mind, I was a popular drunk, but people did not like dealing with the babbling Tara that was, the real alcoholic.
Yeah.
I didn't remember it, but other people remembered it.
I'm going to, KTS, I feel like I'm ready for retirement at 50. I bet you do. I'm going to put my email address on here as well, KTS worker. If you would like to reach out to me for anything at all, I am happy for you to do so. And I'm happy to have any kind of conversation you'd like. The lifeboat wants to know if you're journaling. I know it sounds stupid, but it is really an important piece in recovery. My early recovery, I did a lot of journaling. And I think it really did make the difference, because you can really look and see what's going on even as you're writing it out. It looks different somehow when it's on paper than it does running around in your head.
The vast majority of people who I look up to who are accomplished in various fields, as far as I'm aware, almost all of them journal.
Yeah. I go 2 to 3 days without, and then all of a sudden I grab a drink to take the edge off. Okay, so you're still struggling. And okay. Yeah.
Gratitude is an important piece.
Hey, yep, coming in late to jump in the middle of the conversation. Welcome, Nicola. I'm amazed at how helpful journaling is. On the subject of work and toxic relationships at work, there is a live show about that at 8. Okay. I will reach out to Tara. Plan to do so. Right on. Good deal. My brother's coming out of a bullying healthcare environment. And finally noticed the tension he dealt with too. He almost had a depressive episode he didn't want to see because he functioned. Oh, that's just, it is such a necessary thing for people to be in. And why does it have to be the hardest thing to be in? You know? And the most stressful. Using the gratitude app on iOS. Excellent. Gratitude never hurts. Sweet deal. Well, that's a good start. It is. It hurts when you fall off that pedestal. I was Wonder Woman when on my drug of choice, admitting I was not that Misha, that I couldn't do the norm, what I did high. That was hard, especially self-admittal. Yeah. KTS worker, Tara Smiling says, recovery looks different for everyone. I struggled to stay clean for months before I was actually successful. Been clean and sober for over 3 years now. Yes. I'm late because I have been busy journaling after a busy day. Excellent reason to be late. 2 to 3 days is a good first step to be able to be without alcohol. Agreed. I could write a book on toxic work relationships. I know you could. We have zero choice but to function. Yeah. Our hearts drove us to these careers. Yeah. Because you're dealing with all kinds of people in pain. Mm-hmm. I think I'm caught up on all the chat. KTS worker, if you are interested, I can give you or the mods the link. Okay. All righty. Have we been helpful, KTS? Do you feel like we've helped you at least get through this phase of things? It's the admins that create hell.
Yeah, I've heard horror stories up in the nearest big city where that was the case.
Okay, YouTube, steer us. Shared. Okay, so is the link able to be clicked? I guess Sandy Wendy a mod? Thank you all. Yes, immensely. I feel less alone. Good. Well, we're here.
Oh, go ahead.
We're here every day, Monday through Friday, from 3:40 onward. I try not to do like a total set time. You know, if I can keep it at an hour and a half, we do. But it's not unheard of, and we often do go over 2 hours. So, you know, I'm just here for whatever people need. And that's Monday through Friday, 3:40 Central Time. And on weekends, if somebody is actually in a crisis situation, I'll fire up a meeting on weekends. I have been known to do that as well. The lifeboat is 7 days a week. There's always somebody on the lifeboat Discord server. And Tara Smiling has what are your times that you do your meetings?
I host a live on Mondays at 4:00 Pacific, although full disclosure, I'm considering moving that to Tuesday because of my treatment over the weekends. I think it'll be easier to manage. So I'll be live on next Monday at 4:00, but that might be the final week. And then it'll be Tuesdays moving forward. And then I host the Discord meeting, and all of this is for free, on Thursdays at 6:00 Pacific Standard Time. And then I am available for one-on-one sessions as well. You can email me to set up a time.
I highly recommend her Discord and her YouTube sessions. Her Discord, though, I really do like all the Discord that you can experience on her server and the Lifeboat. You don't have to be on camera, but it's just much easier. If you don't want to be on camera, you just leave the camera off. It's just much easier to communicate with people, and you get much more connection, even just talking to other people who are talking to you.
Yeah.
I hope we see more of you KTS workers.
I hope so too.
Here and on the Lifeboat, there's usually something going on. We have on the Lifeboat, they mirror a lot of what they call ripples. Those are channels that are like-minded with the Lifeboat. So there's shows going on, at least a couple, seems like every day. So
that just blesses my heart. Thank you, KTS worker. I appreciate you too. Thank you for speaking up. For real. Thank you. There's nobody that needs to suffer in silence. None of us needs to do that. There's no reason to, you know.
I see Mayonnaise Entertainment's comment about never having been on Discord. It can be a little tricky, just again, full disclosure about Discord, but once you get the hang of it and start to see how things are set up, it's a fun platform, to be honest, especially when you start getting a lot of faces on the camera. There's, like Ben was saying, it's connection, it's fun. We get serious sometimes in there, but we try to keep it light and fun as well. There's always a topic.
Yeah, because I mean, sobriety needs to be fun. Sobriety needs to be fun too.
Yeah.
You know, I think fun's important.
And in terms of the link, I cannot share. Maybe Ned Awakened. I call Awakened Ned for those who don't know. Maybe Ned just shared. I'm not sure if that's the link to my Discord or not, but perhaps it is.
Let me check. Let's see here.
I wish it just said, the actual server name, like Terra Smiling or the Lifeboat, or in the Discord invite.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Let's see here.
Matrix, if you're going live, shoot me an email and let me know, or send me a message on Facebook. And
Resin Matrix was talking about feeling alone also, and so I certainly don't want you to feel like you're alone.
Yeah,
but I know
I don't either, Matrix.
Yeah, we're here with you, Matrix.
I know Discord. K-pop. Excellent.
Awesome. Yeah, Discord's super fun. It took me a little while to figure it out, but I enjoy it. I enjoy it quite a bit. I enjoy it because when I'm live, I see the comments, but it's really unique and rich, I feel like, to connect face to face to people. And Ben touched on this topic as well. I think there's certainly deep connection here on YouTube. I think meeting people from YouTube over on Discord and seeing a face to go with the screen name is just so beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
If anybody's intimidated by Discord, I encourage you to you think the Lifeboat might be a little intimidating, try Terra server, because it's much more There's only a few options off to the left. Kind of get your feet wet with it. You can see the live chat listed there. It's pretty simple, and then once you get used to that, it's easy enough to then switch over to the lifeboat. But yeah, it seems like nightly there's something going on the lifeboat Discord server for somebody being live.
I just posted Tara's Discord link. Or is that needing a meeting link? That may be the the lifeboat link.
Oh.
Did you?
Hmm.
Yeah, I think it is the lifeboat link.
I think Ned posted at like just a couple minutes ago. If you scroll.
Okay.
Back in the comments, I think.
Just scroll up and you should be able to find it.
I
get lost every time I try to Discord. I shouldn't. But yeah.
I still remember those days of calling her awake, Ned.
That was so embarrassing, but it led to an endearing nickname. I will never forget I wish I could find the exact moment that it hit me that I was saying it wrong, because I'm sure I looked like a deer in headlights for a good 2 or 3 seconds before I was like, I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I accidentally call you Tara from time to time. So,
what did you say, Ben?
I accidentally call you Tara every once in a great while.
You are not alone. A lot of people say Tara, and I don't usually correct people. So I'm a part of this volunteer group, and lately it's like one person called me Tara, and then the next week 2 people were, and then the next week 3 people were, and so I don't want to correct them, but now just about everyone is calling me Tara. So I'm like trying to kind of navigate this. It's happened before, and it naturally worked itself out, and people were like, they eventually started calling me Tara. But I mean, tomato, tomato, it doesn't hurt my feelings when people call me Tara.
Well, you're a good person too, KTS. I'm so glad you're here. And again, thank you for speaking up. That took some guts. And I admire that. I get called Misha, Mitsha, Moesha. My kids hate it, but I just go with the flow.
Clearly, because when I called her Ned, she said she liked it. So
I like having a phonetic name.
I feel lost in everything. Smart guy, dumb emotionally. Aw, Matrix. I wouldn't say you're dumb emotionally. I really wouldn't.
Nah, not at all.
I really want to say it. Miss ya, but fast. Miss ya. Like that.
That's good in the microwave.
Yeah, I can't say it as fast as I want to. Misha. Yeah, it's kind of like Yallins. I can't limit it to one syllable though.
I've been called most of my brother's names.
I want to say to Resin Matrix, you're incredibly creative. And I think sometimes we forget what our strengths are when we start to get down on ourselves. And your creativity is a strength. I just want to remind you of that.
Yeah. Matrix, be here and I will be here too, okay? Yeah. All the wisdom I have comes from pain. It's just really a down day. Yeah. Sometimes you're not, it's not an emotional handicap. It's just you're having a bad day. And I'm sorry you are, Matrix. I'm really sorry.
Yeah. I think that's something we can all relate to, having bad days. Sunday was particularly hard for me, just the recovery from my treatment was pretty brutal.
I understand the disconnect. It has taken me many, many years to work through my disconnection feelings. And Misha is saying, Misha, resonate with Matrix Rabbit. You are an incredible friend. You have been there for me when others failed. You are worthy. Yes, you are.
And you're here. It was hard. On Sunday when I was recovering, it was nearly impossible for me to connect with people. I wasn't able to go to the normal activities that, like the lifeboat, for example, and calling people that I normally connect with on a daily basis didn't happen for me. And it starts to feel really isolated, but I didn't even realize what was happening. I just didn't feel like talking to anybody, but it takes a toll on my mental health when I disconnect like that.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think? Have we had a meeting, y'all? Put a 2 in the chat if you're still needing a meeting, and a 3 if you feel like we've had a meeting. Think of 3 as a heart, and 2 is I still need to dump. Sorry about the crude.
Well,
crude
when you put it that way.
Sorry about the crude analogy, but it is. Nice. You got to admit, you won't forget it.
I like it.
Same.
Hit me up. I will always talk to anyone who needs it, says Matrix Rabbit. Good deal. This is the cool people table. Granted, we kicked them out of it and made us weird, eclectic, amazing people. It's funny. That's funny, Ed. Now I'm calling her Ed.
Contagious.
All right, you guys. I'm so glad that everybody's feeling good. That's a good thing.
Well, I will go ahead and mosey on out of here, but I just want to say thanks for inviting me to the Cool People Table. It is always a pleasure. I feel super special.
Thanks for being here.
Absolutely. I hope to see y'all soon.
Yeah.
Really like that. Tara's a good kid. I shouldn't call her a kid. Good gal.
Good gal. 100%. Yep.
I'm a little concerned about her sourdough starter, but yeah. I do hope you have a great day. I hope
you too, Ben.
Jet T Donkey's doing good, and
Jet's doing good.
That's you have a great day.
You too, Ben.
Thanks.
Thank you, Spanx. Thanks for posting this on the lifeboat. Thank you, everybody who's here. You guys make this an awesome community. I couldn't do any of this without all of you. And it's never a meeting without you. And I appreciate you being here. And I hope to see you again next meeting tomorrow at 3:40 Central Time. Had to think. I'm so used to saying 1:40 Pacific. And until then, peace, y'all.